Whoa! Man, that made a huge difference! What's up YouTube, it's ALLDAYANTHONY, and today I'm going to be upgrading the chain and front sprocket on my Honda Grom. This is a super popular mod in the Grom world, and I did a lot of research on how to go about doing it and which products I wanted to use. Now, if you're wondering why would you change out the sprocket on a bike, basically the answer is that it changes the way the power is delivered. So if you drop teeth or increase teeth, depending on the front or rear sprocket, you can increase your acceleration, you can increase your top speed, or you would do the opposite. So basically you can't have both. What you would be able to do is you'd be able to increase your acceleration and lower your top speed, or increase your top speed and lower your acceleration. So it doesn't necessarily add power, but it changes the way the power is delivered depending on your riding style. Now, a lot of people like to swap out the front sprocket mainly for the fact that it is cheaper to do than the rear sprocket. I mean, the front sprocket's around, you know, 8 to 15 bucks tops, whereas the rear sprocket can be anywhere from 20 to 40 bucks depending on what you want to go with. Now, with doing this, I wanted to change out my chain as well. So the stock chain on the Honda Grom isn't the best. I got about 3,000 miles out of it before it started really stretching, and the more wheelies I did, the worse it got. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to basically increase the strength of that chain to where I'd be able to pop more wheelies and really get on it more without having to worry about it stretching out. So what I did is I picked up some parts from DROWSports. I searched around the internet and I kind of wanted to find like a one-stop shop, and these were like the first guys that popped up on my Google search, and they seem to have a bunch of parts for Groms and Z125s, and they ship within the US because they're located within the US. So I thought that was pretty cool, mainly for the fact that most of your Grom parts and stuff like that are going to come from Thailand. So I did research on what I wanted to go with, and a lot of people recommended going with the Renthal non-O-ring chain. Now, why would you choose non-O-ring over O-ring? Well, basically, a lot of people use non-O-rings, or most people use non-O-rings in dirt bikes or bikes where they don't want to risk losing any power to the bushings that are in an O-ring chain. Now, an O-ring chain kind of keeps the chain lubed for longer, so it requires less maintenance over time, but an O-ring chain apparently delivers power better and really just needs a little bit more maintenance, and it should be able to take a beating and last just as long. Anyways, so here's the products I picked up. Open this up. Sorry guys, I'm not wearing the GoPro today, but I got the Renthal Gold chain here. I thought that looked pretty cool, and it's just a direct swap. And then I also picked up here it is, the JT 14 tooth front sprocket. Now, I chose the 14 tooth because I wanted to increase my acceleration, but I didn't want to lose too much top speed. I wanted to be able to wheelie better and stay more in the power band when I am popping the bike up in a wheelie, but I still commute quite a bit on the bike, and I didn't want to risk losing any top speed. So the 14 tooth seemed to be the right fit for me. Now, the chain here is actually pretty cool looking. Let's go ahead and pull this out. So DROWSports hooked it up, and they threw in a bunch of gloves because they know that this is a very messy job. But here is the chain. So it's a gold chain. I think I got the 120 link chain. So I'm actually going to have to remove some links out of this. And to do that, I picked up this guy right here from Harbor Freight. It's 14 bucks. This is a, gosh, I can't remember the name, but it removes links out of chain. It's a chain breaker. So yeah, you have to get a wrench and wrench onto there and basically slide the chain into here, and I'll show you actually how to do that here in a little bit. But what we need to do right now is we need to get the bike prepped to be able to do all this. So I have the bike sitting right here, and I have a stand, and I have some tools. So what we're gonna have to do is we're going to basically break loose this rear axle right here, and then we're also going to take off the front sprocket cover right there. So that's an 8mm, and this is a 14mm on this side and a 19mm on the other side. And while we're at it, we're also going to remove this. Okay, so with the rear stand on the bike, now we're gonna go ahead and loosen up these rear tensioner bolts right here. So this is going to be, I believe, a 12 millimeter, and this is going to be a 10 millimeter. So we're gonna loosen up this guy first right here, back that out, and then we're gonna back out this second one on both sides. So at that point, it'll give us wiggle room, so we can actually move the chain forward and we can move the chain back. As you guys can see though, I mean, the chain isn't terribly stretched out. I mean, that's kind of where I have it set right now. What we're gonna go ahead and do is we're going to pull it all the way forward and then when we put the new chain on, so it has plenty of slack to go backwards if it does stretch out. So let's go ahead and get these off and go from there. Okay, so at this point I should have free control over the wheel and being able to push it forward or backwards. So with everything loosened up, you'll slide forward to loosen the chain, you'll slide backwards to tighten the chain. So we are going to want it forward and give us our chain slack there. And what we're gonna do is we're going to find the master link, which is gonna be this pink guy right here. Focus in. Yep, that guy right there. So this is the master link. We are going to remove the master link, the pin on here with a flathead screwdriver. They do have tools for it, but I think a flathead should work according to the rest of the world. We'll get that off, slide out the master link, and the whole chain should come off. All right, so with the master pin off there, that kind of just popped right off. It's actually still in good shape. So now this link, the end link right here, should pop off just like that. Now this is going to push through, and voila, master link right there. So the rest of the chain should just fall down and be able to slide right through. Okay, so this is our JT 14-tooth front sprocket. So this just literally slides right on, the same way we had the other one on. There we go. And then you're gonna get your retaining little bracket bolt thing. Goes on, there's the back side, there's the front side right here. So this is going to just slide on. You're gonna see that it has a little bit of wiggle room right there, and then you're gonna bring sprocket to that, just like that, and then bolt that right back in. Okay, so this was an easy way to see how many links I need in my chain. So I just matched it up with the stock chain, and I need to take off 14, so that would make the length of the new chain 106 links, which is the same length as the stock chain. So 106 is the magic number for my Grom. I am just going to chop that right there, take off these 16 or 14, I'm sorry, take off those 14, and then button it up. All right, so before we jump to the chain, I went ahead and got the wheel all the way forward. So it's kind of a pain, I'm not gonna lie. So I hate these adjusters because they come loose, this whole thing falls apart, and it's really flimsy and it's all flailing everywhere. So basically what I did is I backed this all the way out, pushed the wheel all the way forward, and then I temporarily just tightened those bolts just to keep the wheel from falling backwards, because I think it mainly has to do that I am on a stand. So you can see all the way forward on that side and all the way forward on this side. Okay, so at this point what I've done is I have the chain all the way on there, and then I found where, I guess the chain tension where I needed it to be. So I cranked down the axle bolts down there and have it lined up and matched perfectly. I'm on the second line on that portion and the second line on that portion, so it's nice and even. Now, after I did that, I cranked those down and I brought the bike back down. All right, so I was a little short on time yesterday, so I had to sew up the rest of the project this morning. All I did was just put everything back together. So, like as you last saw, I had the sprocket cover off here. So I tightened those 2 bolts on the sprocket, put the sprocket cover on, clip back on these wires up here, put the chain guard back on, and then cinch down these tensioner bolts back here. So all in all, I think it's actually a really fast and simple mod. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. All you need is just having I just need to have the right tools, basically, and try not to overthink things too. I mean, it's not really complicated, but I could see if you were to kind of get into a rabbit hole of thinking, I could see how it could become complicated. But otherwise, I think everything else went great. I think the gold chain looks awesome. It looks really, really cool. As you can see, I kind of have a little bit on the looser side. I probably could have removed an extra link and brought this forward even more, but it's not bad for right now. If it really bothers me, I'll remove an extra link, knocking it down to 105 links instead of 106. But when I sit on the bike, the chain does tension up. So yeah, all in all, it's an easy project. So I say we go for a ride and we compare it to the stock chain and see how it does.
All right guys, so here's some reference wheelies for the stock 15-tooth front sprocket and stock chain. You'll see that I can still pop it up, but I have a hard time keeping it up in the power band with the current setup. So let's do a little pop up real quick. So let's try it again. So not bad. I'm getting close to balance point, and I feel like I have enough power to get up there, but I would like to have enough power, or at least enough acceleration to kind of keep myself balanced between, I guess, that safe level of riding out a power wheelie and then also balance point, being able to kind of alternate back through there with the rear brake and have enough power to do so. So let's talk about the power, starting off with the 15-tooth front sprocket and the zoom loop exhaust. You'll kind of see that it bogs down in the lower RPMs when taking off, so I'm hoping that the 14-tooth will fix that. Alright, so first ride on the 14-tooth front sprocket and new chain. Oh, alright, yeah. That, dude, that's got some... That added a lot of pep. Wow, I'm actually really surprised right now. I wasn't expecting it to be that much of a difference, but I mean, it's definitely noticeable. That's definitely noticeable. So, all right. So here's my my wheelie practice spot. This is where I just practice in my neighborhood here. It's got a nice little uphill incline. So let's see if it made any difference. Oh yeah, yeah it did. Yeah it did. Holy crap, man. That's Whoa! Man, that made a huge difference! Holy crap! I gotta try that again. Holy crap, dude, that makes a huge difference. Wow! Holy crap, that's crazy. I'm telling you guys right now that I was not able to, I mean, I was able to pop it up, but I wasn't able to get it up that fast and not that consistent, but also not actually have the power I needed to kind of keep it going. So basically before, I would probably say like I could pop it up 80% of the time. I can now pop it up 100% of the time. So if you're having issues with getting just the bike to pop up, the 14-tooth could be your the answer to your problem. Okay, so I know that the speedo is technically off now since we've swapped out the sprockets. It's not going to show the accurate miles per hour. However, we're going to do a speed run just to see how it feels and just to see how it does and to see if it really affected it too much just by feel. So first gear here. I'll actually do a nice middle of the road here from a stop. First gear. Oh wow. Yeah, dude, this thing's ripping. Alright guys, so that's the video. I just want to give a shout out to DROWSports for supplying this kind of stuff, and also the super fast shipping that they had. I like having a store where it kind of has everything in one place so I don't have to source parts from different websites. So thank you guys there at DROWSports. Overall, man, I love the Renthal chain. I love the 14-tooth front sprocket. I think it makes a huge difference for people that are trying to learn how to wheelie, that are having a hard time just popping the bike up. This really, it changed it for me. So where I'm no longer popping it up half the time. I'm popping it up pretty much every single time now, and I have the power to keep those wheelies, chasing those wheelies out. So all in all, I'm super happy with the purchase. I think this is an awesome investment, an awesome mod for people that are looking to kind of beef up their Grom, especially in the lower end if you live in like a city or something like that and you need that quick acceleration. But all in all, guys, I really like it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like this video, give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and I will catch you in the next one. This is ALLDAYANTHONY. Peace.